Howdy, folks. I'm Prissy Primrose, primly primping for proper parties.
I'm Amber.
And here are some cool guy glasses for us to rock and roll with. Let's party it up with Reddit. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Booking a Surprise Romantic Getaway for My Boyfriend and I? I am a 28-year-old female, and my boyfriend is a 29-year-old male, and we have been dating for just under 18 months. But we've known each other for years. We've had our issues, but on the whole, it's been a good relationship. I am a primary school teacher, and so I work a lot. I get into work around 7:30 a.m., and I don't leave most days until about 6 p.m. or later. Even though my boyfriend is a trained teacher, but his job is being in foster care. He has done this since we finished our teaching training, and he has never had a real teaching job. He does apply here and there, but not seriously. He currently cares for 3 foster youth, a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and an 11-year-old. To be fair to him, he's paid amazingly well to have these boys. He makes something like £70,000 per year after tax, just to house them, which is ridiculous to me, but whatever. As mentioned before, I am a teacher. We are getting closer to the summer holiday, but it's still a fortnight away. I get 1 day per year off, as well as my well-being day off, on the 17th of June. SLT reminded me that I hadn't used it and I needed to use it before the summer or I would lose it. As any teacher will know, that holidays double in price as soon as school break is up for summer. So I decided to book it for the 1st of July, and then I quickly booked a non-refundable long weekend getaway for the 29th, the 30th, and the 1st for me and my boyfriend. I booked it quickly without checking with him because I wanted to surprise him. I thought that he would be happy. He's been asking for a holiday for ages, so I thought this would be a nice surprise. He wasn't happy and said he was angry with me. He told me that he couldn't go that weekend because Ollie was going to go to a concert with his mom. I said, just ask for an agency to arrange travel for him. He flat out said no. He said that Ollie hadn't seen or spoken to his mom in over 2 years and that he needed him to be there to support him. I get that he has an attachment to Ollie, I understand that truly, but he isn't Ollie's dad, he doesn't need to be there 24/7. Talking to a contact is something that the agency can do. They've done it for other foster carers in the past, so it isn't like it's unheard of for them to ask that. I told him this and I said that the trip was non-refundable. He said that he really wished that I had consulted with him before booking, as if the point of a surprise isn't the surprise. He said that I should just ask one of my girlfriends to go with me if it's non-refundable. I said that I might as well not bother since it's a romantic getaway. He says that he's sorry, but he wasn't able to change his mind. So I said that you're choosing Ollie over me. He flatly said yes. Since then, he hasn't been responding to me. No texts and not answering my phone calls, which I think is really childish. At first, I was just ignoring him, but he didn't even reach out, and now it's been almost a full week. I am not asking for any relationship advice. I want simply to know if I was in the wrong for booking a surprise romantic getaway, something that he's been asking for us to do. Please keep that in mind. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, you're the major jerk here, OP. He has children for all intents and purposes. Foster parents are still parents. They're still obligated to look after their foster children. Like, there may be the hope of reunification down the line, but until his bio parents come back into his life, he is their parent. Would you react the same way if these were his bio kids and just be like, oh, you can just drop them off with their mom, like, it's no big deal?
I mean, I think that OP wasn't necessarily wrong for wanting to surprise their partner, but I think they really should have taken no for an answer and then not insulted him and whatnot. Mistakes are mistakes, right? And I can understand why OP might feel like there was a way for OP or its partner to, have the kids taken care of for the weekend. I still think it would have been inconsiderate, but I can understand why OP would be like, oh, I want to really surprise them and whatnot. But where I really kind of draw the mark on what OP did wrong here was not accepting his no, not and then arguing back with him and being like, oh, well, it's non-refundable, you have to come with me. blah, blah, blah. Someone else can do all this other stuff.
And I agree, that's also problematic, but especially like her attitude toward the foster kids, I'm so upset by. Because she's like, oh, you're not their parent. And it's like, he is their parent, like, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, he's their guardian. He's taking care of them. He has a responsibility to them, a legal responsibility to them. And he can't always just, on the drop of a dime, get out of taking care of them and without, prior arrangement.
Right, and like again, if this was a bio kid who hadn't seen their mom in 2 years, would OP be like, "Oh, you can just drop them off. It's fine. It's whatever."
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Empress Jaina Solo says, you're the jerk. Your ex-boyfriend has a job where he can't take surprise vacations. Why don't you view his job as a job? Why do you assume that fostering is just about providing a roof over a child's head? Why do you have so little respect or empathy for both the children in your ex's boyfriend's care and for your ex-boyfriend himself for wanting to provide a loving and caring space for children going through some of the hardest and most potentially damaging situations imaginable? I don't understand your judgment here. Perhaps it's time to look inward and figure out why your boyfriend's loving and caring for other people bothers you so much.
Yeah, and that comment does a really good job, like putting into words what I couldn't. I think they hammer on a lot of the important points there.
Yeah, I do too. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Insisting That We Change Our Son's Name? My wife, a 24-year-old female, and I, a 28-year-old male, had our first baby 5 months ago. We've been together for 6 years, married for 5. He's a beautiful little boy, and we gave him the same first name as my wife's father, Keith. My wife grew up hating her father for cheating on her mother and abandoning our family. In the past decade, he's worked tirelessly to improve their relationship. In her family, it's a typical tradition for the first grandson and the granddaughter to be named after the grandparents, and my wife was proud to name our son after her father. However, a few weeks ago, my wife and her father had a massive argument. Turns out, he is convinced that for some reason, I am going to cheat on my wife. He thinks that we got married too young, and that I'll get bored of her now that she's devoting all of her time to our son. He told my wife this after she opened up to him about how worried she was about being pregnant so soon after giving birth. We didn't plan a second pregnancy, and a few days after the argument, my wife miscarried, and it was a painful moment for both of us. Essentially, he kicked her while she was already down for no reason. I had a friendly relationship with him, but I know that he wanted my wife to marry someone from her own background. Since the argument, my wife has not been calling our son by his name. She uses nicknames, calling him the baby, etc. She said that she needed time to get over the argument with her dad, but she also blames him for the miscarriage, which is something that I don't think that she'll ever get over. Father-in-law has made no attempts to apologize or reconcile. Well, a month into my wife refusing to use our baby's name, I said that we needed to change it because it would be better for my wife's mental health and our son's development. If this argument continues, or is ever brought up again, she can't be too upset to use his name when he's old enough to already know it. We've started the process now to change the name, and somehow it got back to my father-in-law, and he knows that I suggested it. He's infuriated. He said that I was supposed to be the level-headed one since my wife is postpartum and recovering from a miscarriage, and that I've just made their rift a million times worse since I denied him a family tradition. My in-laws think that I'm a jerk for insisting on the name change, since now it'll be even harder for them to reconcile. I don't think that I'm a jerk, but my brother said that it would be a good idea to get an unbiased opinion. Am I the jerk? Edit, Keith is not the real name, it's just used for the post. Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, first of all, no one is owed having a kid named after them. It seems like he wasn't a very good father to OP's wife,
Yeah.
and he's not being a very good father to her now. Why should he be honored by having a kid named after him?
Well, I think what's really important here is his wife's mental health.
Yeah.
She is struggling, and she can't even say the name of her own child.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is not a good sign, right? Mm-hmm. If things are this bad right now, and she has this much resentment right now over the name of her father, it's better just to change it, right? Mm-hmm. Whether or not people want to criticize OP and their wife or not is really, it's none of their business, right? they're doing what they have to do to make sure that OP's wife's mental health is maintained and not, uh, degraded by having this name, and a constant reminder of, one, the miscarriage, which she blames on Keith, and two, the fact that she has a bad relationship with her husband, or father, rather.
Well, and then her father continues to like belittle her on top of this, like,
Yeah.
oh, you were supposed to be the level head one because she's postpartum,
Yeah.
as if people can't be rational. Like, it sounds like what the father said to her was deeply hurtful, but
Yeah.
heaven forbid a woman have an emotional reaction. Then it's, oh yeah, these women, they can't be logical. It's hormones.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Earth Weird 8173 says, I would absolutely change the baby's name. If he keeps calling to complain, I wouldn't take his call. And OP replies, laughing my butt off. He called us about a half hour ago asking if we were still being ridiculous. My wife told him that she was, and then she hung up. And Soft Plastic 1742 says, first of all, what are you doing getting her pregnant 5 months after postpartum? Didn't you hear your doctor when they said to wait at least 9 months before trying to become pregnant again? You're the jerk, if for no reason other than that. And OP replies, we didn't try to get pregnant. Her midwife told us that if we used the lamb method for the first 6 months of our baby's life, it would be 99% effective at preventing pregnancy. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, I am a 25-year-old female and my boyfriend, a 40-year-old male, got rid of my collection without asking me, but says he didn't do it to hurt me. How do I get past this? We have been together for a year and a half, and I recently found out that I'm pregnant with our first child. Since I was 12, I've collected a particular type of doll and the associated merchandise, and I'm really passionate about it. I had a pretty extensive collection after 13 years. Obviously, now that I'm not 12 anymore, I don't play with them, but I have a couple of shelves in my office, a few of my favorites in the bedroom, and a few on the bookshelf in the living room. He has room for his hobby stuff too. He has said before that he thought that they were more for kids, but at the same time, he bought me dolls and even helped me find rare ones at times, so I thought that he came around to them, and that I was surprised to find that after going to visit my dad for a few days, that he had gotten rid of my entire collection when I had come back. Everything is gone. I haven't stopped crying since I got back, and we have had the biggest fight. He said that he made a decision because now that we're having a baby, it's time for me to grow up and get rid of them. But he thought that it would be easier on me if he did it when I wasn't there. He says that his intentions were good, but I'm so devastated. I've never been more upset in my entire life. My question is, how can I get over this and move past it, and stop feeling like this was a betrayal, since he says that he meant it with good intentions? I've just never felt so sad my entire life. Edit, to reduce the number of notifications in my phone when I go to sleep, I'm logging out, but I will be back tomorrow probably. I want to say thank you guys. Without having posted, I probably would have continued to be sad, but I've never seen the situation in the light that I see it now. I have hope for the recovery of some of my beloved dolls, if not all of them, and I plan to approach that situation with some of the advice given here in hopes of recovery. Alright folks, what do you think?
I mean, I think I'm really glad that OP has optimism about recovering the dolls, and it's okay to be upset about this because it is a betrayal.
Yeah.
What he did here was not with OP's best interest at heart. He decided unilaterally, I think OP is too old for these things that mean a lot to her. I'm just going to get rid of them.
Yeah, I really feel pretty icky about the situation. He went up behind her back, got rid of her possessions. That is a betrayal of trust. It shows that he's a controlling individual, and he's going to impose whatever he thinks is right on OP without asking her. Like, this was a major decision that he made and imposed on her based off of his beliefs.
Right. What other decisions is he going to make behind OP's back and be like, well, I knew you'd be too emotional to handle this, so I was just doing what's best for us.
Yeah, I bought a house because I knew you would be too emotional about the house choosing process. Like, there's just no end to these kinds of things. Once you have, maybe I'm making a slippery slope argument here, but it really feels when you have a situation where somebody is willing to do something so big and rationalize it as being what's good for you, that it's going to be not too far of a jump for them to do similar things with other major decisions in your life. So I don't think that OP should trust him again. I think that this should be the end of a relationship, quite frankly. And I hope that OP is able to recover their collection, because you can never be too old for a hobby, right? Plain and simple. If it brings you joy, continue to do it, right? You only live once, and there's only so many things that you can do to fill your time. And if you find it worthwhile, you find it interesting, good for you. That's what I have to say. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And BirdDogging1 says, what is this collection worth, and are you getting the money at least? Agree that it's horrific and a sign of worse to come, as other commenters have said. But if his intention was truly sincere, shouldn't you be receiving a check? And OP replies, oh my gosh, it's probably worth tens of thousands of dollars. Some of them on their own could have been worth over $1,000 plus. Wow, what a horribly irresponsible thing to do. I just cannot imagine getting rid of a collection that was worth tens of thousands of dollars. This person really, OP should sue them. And if they can't recover them, sue them, and or bring up charges of theft on them. Waiting for Death Boo says, did he just throw it all away? Sounds like he also wants you financially dependent on him, so that you're much more vulnerable and easier to control. And OP replies, I don't know, it's possible he sold it. I've posted on some groups asking people to be on the lookout for pieces of my collection. And Waiting for Death Boo says, what did he say when you asked him about them? Does he just refuse to tell you? And OP replies, he just said that he got rid of them and won't tell me further what that means. I think he probably sold at least some of them because he knows the value. But I don't know if he went through the trouble of selling them all, or if he threw out some of them. If he knew the value of these, $5 says that he actually sold them because he thought the money was worth more than her collection. So yeah, this is definitely theft. I'm imagining that what's best for you is his pocketbook.
Yeah.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has an oh-so-funny, jovial Bob Stein prediction.
No one will be watching when you do a perfect reverse double somersault dive from the high board. Everyone will be watching when you belly flop into the water, splashing a group of old ladies and little children.
Probably because I won't be doing the first. And I have Earl Grey. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, wonderful Wednesday, folks. Friday, Junior's Eve. I can't believe it. We're halfway through the week. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it a review on Yelp.
Food, 5 out of 5. Company, 0 out of 5. Roommate tried to con me into purchasing her food. Will not go out with her again.
I think that works. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.